Wink News begins with breaking news.
Breaking right now, 2 people are hurt after a plane crashed near Colonial Boulevard and US 41. Here's a live look at the crash site. The plane was on its way to Page Field when it went down right at noon.
The crash actually caused traffic problems on Colonial Boulevard during the noon hour. That road is back open. The 2 people who were on that plane were pulled out to safety. Now, this is a picture of that rescue from our partners at the News Press.
Again, this happened just off of Colonial Boulevard. You can see from this map the plane wasn't far from Page Field when it went down. Wink News anchor Amanda Hall is live at the crash site and starts our team coverage. Amanda?
Stacey and Bob, good afternoon to you. This is just amazing. This plane crashed on top of a storage pod in the parking lot behind a medical center. We do understand that the truck nearby also sustained some damage. It was a wild scene earlier today. Take a look at this video. As you mentioned, this happened on the busy lunch hour commute. This crash forced Colonial Boulevard to just shut down for over an hour today. Wink News is now working to learn more about the pilot and the passenger who were taken away from this. I can tell you the plane is a Piper PA-24 Comanche. It's a 4-seater plane, but 2 people inside. We spoke with the pilot who heard about the crash while he was at Page Field. He rushed over to this scene here to see who was inside.
I've lost a lot of friends flying airplanes over the years. I've been involved in airplanes for 30, 40 years, ever since I was a little kid. So every time I hear one goes down the area, it's, you know, it kind of makes your heart stop for a second.
Now, that pilot did not know the people inside. Again, no one on the ground hurt. We understand that those 2 people were transported. We're working to learn their names and their conditions at this hour. We're also waiting on the FAA and the NTSB, who will come here to investigate, determine exactly what happened. I'm live in Fort Myers. Amanda Hall, Wink News now.
Wink News begins with breaking news.
First at 5 tonight, 2 people are injured after their plane crashed into a parking lot right across the street from Page Field.
The crash happened as the pilot prepared to land at the airport in Fort Myers. Wink News has complete team coverage tonight at 5. Carolyn Brewster talked to drivers who saw the plane come down.
But we start with Wink News anchor Amanda Hall with the latest on what happened. Amanda.
Lois and Chris, since I last joined you at 4 o'clock, another investigator has arrived on scene. I'm going to step out of the way so you can take a closer look at that investigator going inside of the cockpit up on top of that ladder there. This plane crashed a few yards short of an open field. It crashed on top of this storage bin, as you can see. This is all happening in the back of a medical center off Colonial Boulevard. A woman I spoke with says it looked like the pilot was looking for a safe place to put down the aircraft today. Our partners at the News Press took some pretty remarkable photos of the firefighters bringing the pilot and the passenger out of here. We're working to learn who they are. This plane is a Piper PA-24 Comanche. It's a 4-seater plane. Again, 2 people on board, though. This particular plane was made in 1959. According to the FAA website, the plane is registered to Ralph Lennon in Nevada. We're being kept at a distance, but from where I'm standing, it doesn't look like there was a lot of damage to this cockpit. Again, that investigator going inside, checking things out right now. I spoke with the pilot who was at Page Field when it happened. He came here to see if he knew any of the people on board. He commended this pilot with keeping the aircraft away from the people on the ground. Take a listen.
It looks like he had some sort of problem on his approach in Page Field. You know, I don't know what the problem was with the engine out or whatever. But he did a great job getting it on the ground.
My colleague Carolyn Brewster has been speaking with people who were walking or driving in the area when it happened. They came to the site to see what all happened. She's been speaking with witnesses all afternoon. Carolyn, what can you tell us? Amanda, that's right. There was a lot of traffic. When got out okay. Amanda, back to you. From here, the FAA and the NTSB assume this investigation. Again, we're working to learn more about the 2 people on board. We'll bring you those updates as soon as we get them. Amanda Hall, Wink News, now.
All right, Amanda, we'll check back with you soon.
We found the aircraft, I think looks like it's in the back of a building and a parking lot.
Now at 6, 2 people were hurt after a plane crashed while trying to land at Page Field.
The wreckage is in a parking lot. The plane slammed into a storage pod.
It crashed about noon near Colonial Boulevard, not far from US 41.
And that's where we find Wink News anchor Amanda Hall, who starts our complete team coverage at 6. Amanda.
An investigator with the FAA is still on scene here. This plane barely missed the building. I'm going to step out of the way so you can take a closer look. It is in the back of a medical center on top of a storage pod. I just spoke with people who work inside this medical center. They say it actually clipped a large tree on the way down. Our partners at the News Press took some pretty remarkable photos of the firefighters bringing the pilot out, attending to both of the people who were on board here. And in just the last few minutes, we've seen that investigator taking pictures inside the aircraft. From our vantage point, it doesn't look like a whole lot of damage to the cockpit. This plane is a Piper PA-24 Comanche. It's a four-seater plane. This one was made in 1959. According to the FAA website, it's registered to Ralph Lennon in Nevada. On a typical day, I'm told there are 10 to 15 employees inside the building where this plane crashed behind. I spoke with the man who was inside an office here when he heard this crash, ran outside to try to help.
The gentleman that was actually, I guess, flying the plane actually, walked out on his own. But the lady that was, I assume it was a female that was inside the plane, they actually carried her off on a stretcher. All I can say is the pilot did a great job because, unfortunately, we have a building here with administrative staff at all times. And if it would have hit that building, it would have been a complete devastation.
And so many people, just like that man, have commended the pilot, saying he did a good job getting this aircraft on the ground away from people. Again, no one on the ground was hurt. There is a truck very close to that storage pod that did sustain some pretty serious damage to the front of it. Again, we're trying to work out who exactly was on board, who the pilot is, who the passenger is, work to get you their conditions. Count on Wink News for those updates. Live in Fort Myers, Amanda Hall, Wink News now.